There is a version of you, a powerful, limitless version that already exists in the quantum field, a version that has already won. The only thing separating you from that reality is your mind. See, most people wake up every morning and unknowingly repeat the same thoughts, feelings, and actions as the day before. They become trapped in a cycle of familiarity, reliving past emotions, reinforcing the same beliefs and expecting a different future. But here's the truth. You cannot create a new destiny with the same mind that created your past. A winner doesn't wait for success to feel successful. A winner embodies the mindset of victory before the evidence appears. Science shows us that when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you shift from the predictable past into the realm of possibility. You shift from the predictable past into the realm of possibility. Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever possess, yet most people allow it to run on autopilot, recycling the same thoughts day after day. The challenge is that every thought you think sends a signal to your body, triggering biochemical responses that shape your emotions, behaviors, and ultimately, your reality. If your thoughts are rooted in limitation, doubt, or fear, your brain strengthens those neural circuits, making it easier to repeat the same patterns. But the moment you decide to take conscious control of your thoughts, you begin shifting the trajectory of your life. Science tells us that the brain does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you repeatedly think about failure, rejection, or stress, your body responds as if those experiences are happening in real time. You flood your system with stress hormones, reinforcing a state of survival. Over time, this becomes a habit, a way of being. But when you deliberately shift your focus to thoughts of success, empowerment, and possibility, you rewire your brain to anticipate a different future. Every time you think, your brain fires neurons in a specific sequence, pattern, and combination. If you continue to entertain the same disempowering thoughts, you strengthen those neural pathways, making them more automatic. But when you introduce new intentional thoughts, ones that align with the life you want to create, you weaken the old patterns and forge new connections. This is neuroplasticity in action. Your brain is not fixed. It is constantly being shaped by your focus and intention. A powerful thought carries energy. The more attention and emotion you give to a thought, the stronger its influence on your subconscious. If you repeatedly think about obstacles, your mind becomes conditioned to see limitations. If you constantly imagine possibilities, your mind becomes attuned to opportunities. This is not wishful thinking. It is a biological process. The brain operates like a filtering system, selecting and prioritizing information based on what you consistently focus on. To master your thoughts, you must become the observer of your mind. Pay attention to the narratives playing in your head. Are they stories of strength and capability, or are they echoes of past failures and fears? Every time you catch yourself slipping into an old pattern of doubt or negativity, stop. Interrupt the cycle. Consciously replace that thought with one that serves you. At first, this may feel unnatural, but with repetition, it becomes second nature. Your external reality is a reflection of your internal state. The quality of your life is shaped not by external circumstances, but by the thoughts you choose to entertain. When you discipline your mind to focus on possibility rather than limitation, you are no longer a prisoner of your past conditioning. You become the architect of your future. Your subconscious mind is the operating system that runs your life, processing information, forming habits, and making decisions before you are even aware of them. By the time you are an adult, most of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are deeply ingrained, running on autopilot like a software program. These patterns are not just random, they are a reflection of years of conditioning, beliefs shaped by past experiences, societal influences, and repeated emotional reactions. If you were programmed with thoughts of doubt, fear, or limitation, those scripts continue to dictate your reality unless you intervene. The subconscious does not differentiate between what is true and what is merely repeated. It accepts whatever you feed it, storing every belief as a command that shapes how you perceive the world. If you have been conditioned to think that success is difficult, relationships are painful, or abundance is out of reach, your subconscious will work tirelessly to confirm that narrative. It filters reality through a lens that aligns with your existing beliefs, ensuring that your external world mirrors what you hold internally. Reprogramming the subconscious is not about forcing change through willpower alone. It requires accessing deeper levels of awareness where these patterns are stored. The subconscious is most receptive in states of deep relaxation, right before sleep, upon waking, or during meditation. And if in these moments your brain waves slow down, making it easier to bypass the analytical mind and introduce new empowering suggestions. By visualizing your desired reality, affirming new beliefs, and attaching strong emotions to them, you imprint these changes directly into your subconscious. Repetition is the language of the subconscious. Just as an old belief was formed through repeated exposure, a new belief must be reinforced through consistent practice. If you want to reprogram your mind for success, you must immerse yourself in thoughts, emotions, and experiences that reflect the reality you seek. Every time you affirm your worth, visualize your success, or embody confidence, you are strengthening new neural pathways, making them more dominant than the old patterns. Emotions accelerate the process of reprogramming. When you attach a powerful feeling to a thought, it signals to your subconscious that this information is important. If you visualize your future self with a sense of excitement, gratitude, and certainty, your subconscious begins to accept that version of reality as truth. Over time, this shifts your automatic responses, aligning your thoughts, behaviors, and decisions with the life you are creating. Your subconscious mind is always listening, always recording, always shaping your future based on the data you provide. The question is, are you feeding it the same limiting narratives, or are you deliberately installing new programs that align with your highest potential? Your emotions are not just reactions to life. They are powerful signals that shape your future. Every emotional state you experience carries a frequency, influencing the way your body functions, the way your brain processes information, and the reality you attract. If you live in a constant state of stress, frustration, or fear, your body becomes conditioned to those emotions, reinforcing cycles of limitation. But the moment you elevate your emotional state, choosing gratitude over worry, excitement over doubt, love over fear, you shift into a new energy that opens the door to transformation. The body does not know the difference between an emotion triggered by an external event and one created internally through thought alone. When you recall a past failure, your body reacts as if it is happening again, releasing stress hormones that keep you in survival mode. But when you consciously generate feelings of joy, abundance, or success before the evidence appears, you signal to your brain and body that a new future is already unfolding. This is not pretending. It is training your nervous system to align with a different reality. Every elevated emotion you cultivate strengthens new neural pathways and biochemical responses. When you practice gratitude daily, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, reinforcing the feeling of appreciation and making it easier to sustain. When you embody confidence, your posture changes, your breath deepens, and your mind begins to expect success rather than fear failure. These changes are not abstract. They are measurable shifts in your physiology, proving that emotions have the power to reshape your internal state at a cellular level. Your thoughts and emotions work together to create a feedback loop. If you focus on stressful thoughts, your body reacts with tension, and that tension further fuels more stress-based thinking. But when you break this cycle, when you intentionally elevate your emotions, you disrupt the old patterns and replace them with a new experience of reality. The more you practice holding an elevated emotional state, the more your brain and body begin to accept it as your default mode of being. One of the fastest ways to elevate your emotional state is through intentional shifts in focus. When you wake up in the morning before your mind defaults to familiar worries, take a moment to generate a feeling of excitement for the day ahead. When you encounter challenges, instead of reacting from old emotional patterns, pause and ask yourself how the most empowered version of you would respond. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to shift out of reactivity and into intentional creation. Your emotions act as a tuning fork, influencing the signals you send to the world around you. When you elevate your emotional state, you change your energy. And when you change your energy, you become a magnet for new possibilities, new experiences, and a new future that aligns with the emotions you consistently cultivate. The familiar is a powerful force. It feels safe, predictable, and comfortable, even when it limits your growth. Your brain is wired for efficiency, preferring to repeat the same thoughts, emotions, and behaviors because they require less energy. This is why people often find themselves stuck in repetitive cycles, reliving the same experiences, reacting in the same ways, and expecting a different future. But true transformation requires stepping beyond the known, into the space of uncertainty, where all possibilities exist. Every day, your mind follows patterns reinforced by past experiences. The way you think, the emotions you feel, and the choices you make are largely influenced by your history. If you want to create a new future, you must disrupt these patterns and introduce new ways of thinking, feeling, and acting. This means becoming conscious of the unconscious, recognizing when you are operating from past conditioning and choosing to respond differently. The moment you make a new choice, you break the chain of predictability. The body becomes addicted to familiar emotions, even if they are negative. If stress, frustration, or self-doubt have been your dominant emotional states, your nervous system will crave those experiences, pulling you back into the familiar whenever you try to change. This is why stepping into the unknown feels uncomfortable at first. But the discomfort is not a signal to retreat, it is a sign that transformation is happening. To recondition your body to a new future, you must teach it to feel safe in the unfamiliar. Breaking free from the familiar requires rewiring your brain through consistent action. If you want to change your mindset, expose yourself to new ideas and challenge your existing beliefs. If you want to change your emotional state, practice feeling elevated emotions before external circumstances justify them. If you want to change your habits, introduce small daily shifts that disrupt your usual routines. Each time you do something unfamiliar, you activate new neural pathways, making it easier to create lasting change. Fear often arises when stepping into the unknown, but fear is simply a byproduct of uncertainty. It does not mean danger. It means you are leaving behind the old and stepping into something new. The key is to reframe discomfort as progress, embracing it as evidence that you are no longer living in autopilot. The more you expose yourself to new experiences, the more comfortable you become with change, and the more your brain begins to trust that the unfamiliar is not a threat, it is an opportunity. Your future does not exist in the past, nor does it reside in the predictable patterns of daily life. It is found in the unknown, where new ideas, new emotions, and new possibilities emerge. When you stop repeating the same habits and start making choices that align with who you want to become, you shift from living in the past to creating the future. Your brain does not distinguish between a deeply imagined experience and a real one. When you visualize a future event with intensity and emotion, your brain fires the same neural circuits as if the experience were already happening. This means you can mentally and emotionally rehearse success before it manifests in your physical reality. The more vividly you engage in this process, the more familiar and natural your desired outcome becomes, training your brain and body to expect it. Most people wait for external circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel empowered, abundant, or successful. But waiting keeps you trapped in the same patterns of the past. If you want to create a new future, you must first generate the emotions associated with that future. When you feel gratitude, excitement, and confidence before the physical evidence appears, you align your internal state with the reality you want to create, making it more likely to manifest. Every time you visualize a desired outcome, your brain strengthens the neural connections associated with that experience. If you consistently imagine yourself achieving a goal, your brain begins to perceive it as familiar and achievable. This process, known as mental rehearsal, has been used by elite athletes, performers, and visionaries for decades. They see themselves succeeding before they step onto the stage or into the competition, ensuring that their mind and body are already primed for excellence. Emotion is the catalyst that makes visualization effective. If you imagine a successful future but remain emotionally disconnected, your brain does not register the experience as meaningful. The key is to combine visualization with elevated emotions: gratitude, joy, certainty, and excitement. When you truly feel the emotions of your future self, your body begins to chemically and neurologically align with that reality, sending a signal to your subconscious that this version of you is real. Consistency is essential. A single visualization session may create temporary inspiration, but long-term change requires repetition. The more you mentally and emotionally rehearse your future, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your behaviors shift, your decisions align with your vision, and you begin noticing opportunities that match your new mindset. What once felt distant becomes an extension of who you are because your brain and body are already living in that reality. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If you continue to focus on what is missing, you reinforce a state of lack. But if you focus on the future you want and feel it before it happens, you signal to your brain and body that you are already there. This shift in energy and awareness creates a powerful momentum, drawing you closer to the reality you have been consistently rehearsing in your mind. Your brain is a dynamic, ever-changing network of neural connections that strengthen or weaken based on repetition. Every thought, emotion, and behavior you engage in repeatedly becomes wired into your neural circuitry, forming habits that dictate how you perceive and respond to life. If you consistently focus on self-doubt, stress, or fear, your brain reinforces those patterns, making them more automatic. But if you intentionally shift your focus to empowerment, confidence, and gratitude, over time, your brain will rewire itself to make those states your new default. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, proves that you are not bound by past conditioning. The more you repeat a thought or action, the stronger the associated neural pathways become. Like carving a path in a forest, the more frequently you walk the same route, the clearer and easier it becomes to follow. This is why consistency is key to transformation. Every repetition reinforces the mental and emotional state you are training your brain to adopt. Many people expect instant change, but the brain requires sustained effort to solidify new patterns. The first few times you introduce a new way of thinking or behaving, it may feel unnatural because your neural pathways are not yet well established. But with repeated practice, what once felt difficult becomes effortless. The key is to persist beyond the discomfort, knowing that each repetition is strengthening the neurological foundation for lasting change. Emotions play a critical role in the rewiring process. When you combine consistency with elevated emotions, such as joy, excitement, or gratitude, you accelerate the formation of new neural networks. If you continuously visualize success but do not feel it, the impact is minimal. But if you engage with deep emotion, if you feel as though your new reality is already unfolding, you send powerful signals to your brain and body, reinforcing the new pattern at an even deeper level. Your habits are a direct reflection of what you have trained your brain to prioritize. If you want to shift your mindset, you must engage in daily practices that align with your desired transformation. Whether it is through meditation, affirmations, visualization, or conscious decision-making, the act of showing up consistently builds the mental and emotional framework for change. Over time, the new pattern becomes second nature, replacing old habits with intentional, purpose-driven behavior. Small daily efforts create exponential results. The compound effect of consistency means that even minor shifts, when repeated consistently, lead to significant change over time. The challenge is not in making the change itself, but in maintaining it long enough for the brain to recognize it as the new normal. The more consistently you practice a new way of thinking, feeling, and being, the more your brain and body accept it as your new identity, allowing you to step fully into the future you are creating. Whatever you focus on expands. Your attention is like a beam of light, illuminating specific aspects of your reality while leaving others in the shadows. If you constantly direct your thoughts towards stress, limitations, or problems, you energize those experiences, reinforcing them in your mind and body. But when you shift your attention toward possibilities, solutions, and growth, you channel your energy into creating a new reality. Where you place your focus determines the quality of your life. Your brain is designed to filter information based on what you consistently pay attention to. This is why when you learn a new word, you suddenly start seeing it everywhere, or when you focus on a goal, opportunities that align with it begin appearing in unexpected ways. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain responsible for attention, works like a tuning mechanism, amplifying what you repeatedly think about while filtering out everything else. The more you focus on something, the more your brain prioritizes it. Every thought carries energy, shaping not only your perception, but also your emotional and physiological state. When you focus on stress or fear, your body responds by releasing stress hormones, keeping you locked in a cycle of survival. But when you redirect your attention to gratitude, empowerment, and abundance, your brain triggers biochemical responses that enhance creativity, resilience, and overall well-being. Your body follows the signals your mind provides, reinforcing the emotional states you nurture through focus. Attention is not just about what you think, but also about how you feel. If you continuously dwell on past failures, you condition your nervous system to expect similar outcomes. But if you train yourself to focus on success, progress, and new possibilities, your brain rewires itself to seek and create experiences that match that vision. This is not wishful thinking. It is a biological process in which neurons fire together and strengthen based on repeated focus and intention. Redirecting your attention requires conscious effort, especially when old patterns have been reinforced over time. It means becoming aware of where your mental energy is going and making deliberate choices to shift it. Instead of fixating on obstacles, focus on solutions. Instead of replaying old limitations, envision new possibilities. The more consistently you direct your energy toward the reality you want to create, the more momentum you generate toward that future. Your attention is your most valuable resource, shaping your thoughts, emotions, and actions in every moment. When you master where you place your focus, you master your ability to create. The external world is not in control of your reality. Your perception and where you direct your energy determine what you experience. The version of yourself that you aspire to be already exists as a possibility in the quantum field. Every thought, emotion, and action you engage in today is either reinforcing your past identity or aligning you with the future you desire. If you continue thinking, feeling, and behaving the way you always have, you will keep creating the same results. But the moment you decide to embody the mindset, emotions, and behaviors of your future self, you shift into a new reality where transformation becomes inevitable. Your brain does not operate based on external circumstances alone. It responds to your internal state. If you constantly wait for success, happiness, or abundance to arrive before you feel them, you are living in a state of separation from your desired future. Instead, you must generate the thoughts and emotions of your future self now. When you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, how would my future self think today? How would they feel? What actions would they take? The more you practice embodying that version of you, the faster you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Your personality creates your personal reality. If your future self is confident, disciplined, and resilient, then you must start living as that person today. This does not mean faking it or forcing change through willpower alone. It means reconditioning your mind and body to align with a new identity. Neural pathways strengthen with repetition, meaning the more you think and act like your future self, the more your brain wires those traits into your subconscious. Over time, those qualities become second nature, and the transformation becomes effortless. Your emotions act as signals to the universe, broadcasting the frequency of your current state. If you want to attract new opportunities, you must first shift your energy to match the reality you seek. When you feel gratitude, success, and abundance before they manifest, you signal to your brain and body that these experiences are already happening. This is not just a mindset shift, it is a physiological change where your body begins to respond as if your desired future is already real, creating the conditions for it to unfold. Every choice you make is a vote for the person you are becoming. If your future self prioritizes health, discipline, and self-mastery, then your present actions must reflect that reality. Small, consistent decisions, whether it's how you start your morning, the conversations you engage in, or the way you respond to challenges, shape your identity. The more you align your habits with your future vision, the more natural it becomes to embody that version of yourself. Transformation happens in the present moment. The future is not something you chase, it is something you create by the way you think and feel right now. If you continue to operate from the emotions and beliefs of your past, you will keep reliving it. But the moment you decide to embody your future self, you step into a new timeline where the possibilities for growth, success, and fulfillment are limitless.